Hello Overclockers, my name is Briony and I'm here with our resident overclocker Ian, or as everyone knows him, 8-Pack. In this video we're going to be taking a look at ABS, but it's not what you might think. ABS actually stands for All Black System, which is 8-Pack's latest addition to the infinite range of pre-built, water-cooled and overclocked PCs. If you're not really familiar with the infinite range, I'm going to hand over to Ian and he's going to tell you a little bit more about it. So go ahead, Ian.
Hi Overclockers. So the infinite range essentially is a spin-off range, if you like, to the 8-Pack full lineup. And essentially it's usually systems inspired by 8-Pack. So for an example of this would be like the Hunter in the really large Enthoo Elite is inspired by the really huge Orion X in the same case. However, this system here, the ABS system, which Briony said what stands for All Black System, is not actually really inspired by any of the 8-Pack range itself, apart from obviously the tuning and overclocking side and the custom water cooling. Certainly the aesthetic is not. It's just something I came up with myself because of my hatred for RGB. So I wanted to make a system that's really understated, totally bespoke, really has the performance, but is not black foil illuminations in the corner or on your desk.
So Ian, you started going into a little bit about the aesthetics of the ABS and maybe your hatred of RGB, and that sort of inspired you to create a bit more kind of dark, stealthy. It's a bit more menacing than the other 8-Pack systems that I've seen. So do you want to tell me a little bit about it, why you plan to go for this more stealthy look?
Well, to be honest, basically I just wanted the best performance, but in understated. And that's why I chose this Fractal Design Define 7 case. It has enough to accommodate the water cooling that I needed, but it's not too huge. Certainly the front panel itself is literally just a black panel. All the other sides are, of course, just black panels, and this front glass is actually tinted with really a dark shade. So once you have the front glass on as well, you can see even less. Yeah, it's just the perfect sort of lighting that I wanted for the system. And then within this, like as always, I'm adding the most performance and then some aesthetic touches just to make it unique to an Overclockers or an 8-Pack build. So we've got like the TechForge light box, which was designed and manufactured here at Overclockers in the base here. Obviously, this is RGB.
So you can go for a crazy lighting effect.
Yeah, you certainly could. Yeah, but obviously don't desecrate my work by turning the RGB on. But you can change colour if you want to, yes, of course. And here we've got a lot of EK water cooling that's really meant to complement the Define 7 case. So that pass-through plate that you see at the back, or distribution block. Yeah,
that is lovely, that is.
Yeah, with a built-in DD5 pump. That's to fit only the Fractal range of cases and allows for obviously this straight tubing out to the GPU, straight tubing out feeding the CPU, and then similarly to feed the two radiators, which we've got a 360 and a 240 rad, which is easily enough to cool like up to a 16 core AMD CPU and up to a 3090 if you so wish.
Absolutely loads of space in this case, and that's why you chose it. I really like it actually because it's quite narrow and it's not too tall.
Yeah, exactly. It's more of a
lot of length,
tower,
isn't it?
Yeah.
So you've got space for that lovely distro plate in there. It looks really good. What about these cables as well? Because I do quite like those.
Well, obviously, again, these are braided cables, but they're from the Pro Selection by Cable mod that fit specifically with the ROG PSU that we've used here.
Is that the Thor, is it?
Yeah, it's a Thor. Yeah. The Platinum Efficiency Thor, and the cables, although not black, are the carbon colour, which I thought, added to like the monochrome design and matched well with the, if you like, the GPU top plate and also elements of the motherboard. So like picking out bits of colour there. I mean, obviously any customer buying this can select what colour they wish, but I mean, again, keeping with the design, the black colour or the grey colour would look best.
They'd look quite nice maybe like black and white or grey.
Yeah, something like that would actually look good.
Really
yeah,
good.
Any of those type of shades would look good, yeah.
Yeah, it's really nice. So we've spoken a little bit about the aesthetics. Let's move on to the most important, and that's the hardware and the performance and the overclocking. So what have you got in this system? What hardware have you used and how far have you pushed it?
So in this system we've got X570 Dark Hero Asus motherboard. We've got 5900X AMD CPU, which I believe is currently really the king of gaming CPUs in there, so that's 12 core obviously. We've got 8-pack team group memory, which is like C16 at 3600 megahertz as standard, and we've got 32 gig of that. And then in this particular, if you like, demonstration build, this has got a 6900 XT AMD GPU in it, but when we list it on the website we're going to put the default build, if you like, as a 3080 Ti, fully water cooled, of course, like all the main hardware in this is
because I love the block
water-cooled.
that's on here. That's really nice.
Yeah, well actually this was a block, it's the AMD Radeon official block that EK did to support the NBA cards when they first came out, and they sent me a block and had a card which I actually incidentally really like. So I put them in this build because, like I said, the idea of this build initially was actually a PC for me to have at home, and then I liked it so much that I thought, oh, we'll bring it to the 8-pack range, or we'll bring it to the OCUK
Yeah, you can
table.
buy 8-pack's personal PC or something
no, you
based
can't.
on.
No, you
Something based on it, I guess. So do you want to tell me a little bit about the overclocking? Obviously, being 8-pack, you're known for your overclocking prowess.
Essentially, what's really cool about this motherboard, the Dark Hero, and it's the only one in the market that allows this. It allows you to do what's AMD's inherent PBO boost, which they've taken a bit further to PBO2, which essentially allows a negative voltage offset. So when you've got lower loads, you can get higher clock speeds. So this really helps your games because you're not maxing out all the cores. But at the same time, on the same board, you can also do a static overclock, which really helps with multi-core loads. So when the CPU is pulling a certain load, it switches from boosting to a static overclock, which gives you this better performance in, say, rendering or engineering type application, simulation, this kind of thing, where you're really hammering the CPU. So you get the best of both worlds. You allow the PBO boost, which is higher because of your water cooling, and your negative offset, which keeps temperatures lower, boost higher, even up to like 5.2 gigahertz during, which is really high for a CPU like this, during gaming sessions. But then you hit something like Blender or Corona rendering, this kind of program, and it drops down to like 4.55 or 4.6 gigahertz, but across all the cores consistently. If you were doing that on a PBO boost algorithm, it'd be like up and down, up and down, up and down. No, you just got consistent performance.
So yeah, really perfect for those people that have a PC that they game on, but they also need a really powerful system that they can do their work.
And it switches between the two on the fly, depending on the power draw to the CPU, and that can be set up in the BIOS, and of course where we would set that up for the customer here. In this particular system, I've taken the 3600 8-pack memory to 3800 at the stock timings, which is not difficult for these hand-selected kits. I'm pretty sure pretty much all customers could do this. I didn't particularly tinker with the lower timings on the memory kit.
Because it's an Infin8 system, it doesn't come with the memory overclocked, but it's the type of memory you're using. It's really easy for someone to kind of get.
Yeah, it's very high quality memory, and yeah, it's very easy to get overclocks on that. I mean, because this is an Infin8 system, again, we don't overclock the GPUs as such, but of course if you're using water cooling, the dynamic boost of NVIDIA is already overclocking it far farther than it would be on air cooler. Same with AMD. You know, in the driver you can just select rage mode and it'll take advantage of that extra cooling.
They have the
that's
quite
available.
Good like automatic overclocking, don't they, within the software?
It's certainly way better than it ever has been before. Of course, if you're trying to get that extra 1 or 2%, you can manually overclock this, but that does not come in standard in the Infin8 range. Only the 8-pack range are we going to the nth degree, if you like, for overclocking GPUs.
But you do get a very nice overclock CPU.
Yeah, very good. And the options here with this build are, as I alluded to earlier on, you can go all the way up to a 5950X. There's enough cooling
Top of
for
the
that.
range,
You can go all the way up to a 3090 GPU, which is the hottest. There's still enough cooling for that. And you can go all the way up to 128 gig of memory.
Wow.
All at 3600.
Yeah, plenty for pretty much everyone that's out there. You can get right top of the end system. highest graphics card that NVIDIA does, highest CPU from AMD.
Yeah, all in a really, if you like, understated but still very high quality build.
Yeah.
I mean, also on this we're using PCI Gen 4 NVMe drives, which I've chosen Western Digital 850s for that.
Oh, the SN850.
Yeah, I've chosen that.
Why did you choose to go for that one?
Well, I've been using these quite regularly actually in a lot of 8-pack systems. The frame rate actually uses that drive as well, just because the performance is absolutely great. The all black PCB fits well with the design, even though it's under the heatsink.
Oh yeah, it's hidden.
You can still see it, right? And that fits really well. But ultimately for the performance, I really like the performance of those drives.
Also, it does have the WD black name, so I guess it works with the
looks better
the
with
all
the
black
system. Right? Yeah.
We've gone over what awesome hardware you can get in the ABS PC, so I think now we should talk about what's keeping it cool, because I love the look of these water cooling fittings. Do you want to tell me what they are?
Well, yeah, these fittings are actually the new-ish EK Quantum torque range, and it's important actually that you use these particular fittings with this build, because obviously the distribution plate is designed that these fittings will line up perfectly. If you use the older classic fittings, which are a bit shorter, a bit less chunky, then obviously it moves the tubes here, for example, on the GPU a little bit lower, and you get a sag effect. So you have to use these, the quantum fittings, so that everything lines up. Now what I decided to do, principally because I wanted a different look, all the 8-pack systems that we have now, you're actually bending the tubing instead of using entirely straights, and then if you like these 90-degree...
yeah, I really like those. They give like a really modern kind of
modern crisp feel. So I thought I would do something different on this, and decided to use if you like, a multitude of fittings instead of a bent 90. But it gives a different look. I mean, of course, for a customer, if they contact sales, we could bend fittings. That's no problem. Yeah. But I personally really like this. So we're using the new quantum fittings for everything, and obviously we're using specifically these joints here to hold the tubing together. Which the choice of black tubing is either the Corsair version of this black tubing or the Bits Power one. They're very, very similar.
And this is completely matte black as well, so this isn't the colour of the liquid. Have you got clear liquid?
Yeah, it's clear liquid, as you can see in the distribution plate here. You can't see anything in the distribution plate because it is clear liquid. All you can see here is a very, very small bit of air, which is where next to the fill port, which is here. Yeah,
so it's matte black tubes, matte black fittings. Yeah. Very sleek, and then because it's clear liquid, you
can't really see the liquid at all.
Yeah, it's just you just get the effect from the lighting really on there. Yeah, it's really nice. And what sort of temperatures are you getting?
Well, usually if you're just gaming, the CPU is around 60 degrees, something like this. Obviously the GPU is also even less than 60 degrees under gaming loads, and then under rendering load the CPU can max out at around 85 degrees. Yeah,
that's
so
really good.
Solid, really solid temperatures.
Because that's overclocked as well.
Yeah. That's with the overclock from the switcher. So it switches to overclock mode, which gives you the more performance, but it's still kept cool because of the very efficient water cooling. And obviously very good flow rates and quite a lot of radiator space. Yeah,
you've got this huge, is that 360 across the top?
Yeah, you've got a 360 at the top here and a 240 at the front here. I mean, I will be honest, when I put the 240 here at the front, I was quite dubious about the airflow because of the flat front panel here, but it seems that the vents here are certainly giving enough airflow to cool this system. Yeah,
it's got a lot of air vents at the top.
Yeah, the top is great, yeah.
And what fans have you got on here?
Well, these are the EK Varda fans, obviously the non-RGB version.
Yeah, all black.
Yeah, all black. These ones can actually spin up to 3000 RPM. The standard ones can spin up to like 2200 RPM. But I limited them in the BIOS to a maximum of 70% of 3000.
Keep the noise down.
Yeah. So to keep, because I knew I wouldn't need it, so just to keep the noise down. Yeah.
We've spoken about all of the awesome hardware and the water cooling, and you can tell that the ABS is really built for high performance. So I'm going to hand over to you, Ian, and you can tell me how you tested it and what kind of benchmark results and things that you're getting.
Well, obviously, I tested the stability initially to check that it could pass all our, stability suite, which includes rendering type activity, gaming, even like Prime 95, non-AVX and AVX.
Hardcore.
Yeah, hardcore, yeah. And things like Asus Realbench, which are more real world, if you like, performance indicators, and of course stability indicators. But in terms of like for the performance of the machine, I did like Cinebench for rendering, Asus Realbench for a variety of different tasks, then 3D Mark and Unigine Heaven for actual, gaming performance. So I think we can just put up those the scores for these on the screen now.
Yeah, we'll put them up. Okay, that is some really awesome performance. Hopefully you guys have seen all the numbers and you can tell that the ABS is definitely a powerful system. It's going to be awesome for those of you that want to play the latest games. So Battlefield 2042, I think is probably going to be your favourite this year.
Yeah, I'll be smashing that, yeah.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to like Far Cry 6 and Forza Horizon.
Oh, Forza Horizon, I'll be smashing as well, yeah. I'll be smashing that, yeah.
On the system?
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
Yeah. And then also kind of workstation tasks as well, so like really heavy rendering, like video editing and things like that. So it is a really all-round awesome PC, really high performance. So the specifications that you've obviously tested those. We've spoken that you can also change them depending on what people are doing. So you've got the choice to upgrade the CPU, you can choose more memory, you can change the graphics card. So I think that leads us on nicely to if someone wanted to buy one of these, what are we looking at pricing wise?
I think the pricing for the stock item will be about 6,000. And then of course moving up and down depending on what upgrades downgrades you want to do. I mean, normally of course people buying this want numerous upgrades. The spec here is ideal for the gamer who does some content creation, but obviously more content creation often needs more memory, for example, or they might want to, or more storage. They might want to add SSDs or even spinning disks, to use it for really large file sizes. So the 6K is the starting price, and then I guess sky's the limit depending on what, as usual, with what upgrades you want to do.
If you've got a 3090 in here and a 5950X,
exactly. Up with the price. Yeah,
lovely. Thank you very much, Ian. It's been great talking to you, and I am so glad to have seen your brand new Infin8 system called the ABS, which I did quite like the name of that when I first heard it. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button down below if you want to catch our future content, and we'll see you again in the next one.